Hey you guys, welcome to You and Rusty, the channel where we talk about lifestyle, productivity, books, applications, and small ways in which me and you can improve our lives on the daily. This particular video is going to be a book review because we haven't actually done one of those in a while, and I really wanted to talk to you guys about this particular book. Homo Deus, A History of Tomorrow by Yuval Noah Harari. One of the books that I always recommend, regardless of whether you are an experienced reader or a beginner. Because, let's take a little bit of a step back. One of the first books that I read, which actually blew my mind, was this book by the same author called Sapiens. And this book is about how far we have come as humans. It was basically a novelization of the entire history of mankind. Now, this particular book can be considered a sequel to Sapiens. And for a new reader, this book will be really difficult to read because it has such mind-bending concepts. It had such interesting hypotheses. So let me summarize the book for you in a few words. Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow is a book about the future of mankind. The book kind of argues where we as humans are going to progress in the future. The central point of the book is that all throughout our history, we've always been focused on war, famine, hunger, and basically getting where we are. But the next part of the future, the next 1,000 years, next 2,000 years, where humanity is going to convert into not just being humans, but trying to raise humans from being humans to gods. I mean, the best example that we have at the current stage is Elon Musk, who is developing his Neuralink, which will basically enhance the power of your brain and do a lot of things. So the book argues that our development scientifically and environmentally and infrastructure-wise are going to be so immense and so intense and so galloping and will take such a huge leap that maybe the humanity of it all might be left behind. And the book has very interesting concepts, and there is also a very clear divide between Sapiens and Homo Deus. While Sapiens is more or less a fact-based book, this one, which has really interesting hypotheses, which has really interesting ideas, which has really interesting premise from the author, kind of makes you wonder about where humanity is going in the near future. It kind of makes you wonder where our human race is going in the near future. I mean, they talk about space exploration. The book talks about the ethics of human evolution. The book talks about what we are doing to the planet right now. The book talks about that we are at the current stage, war, famine, and plague and pandemics. All of these stuffs are worries of the past. I mean, I know we are going through a pandemic right now at the moment that I'm making this video, but the book also argues very brilliantly about where we might go in the near future. And I mean, if you are a new reader, my advice to you would be to read Sapiens before you go into this book, because you will then familiarize yourself with the style that Harari writes with. Because this book not only breaks down really complex ideas into very simple ways, that simplicity is still not simple enough that a normal reader can just pick up the book, go through it, and enjoy and understand the entire process. The book is fascinating from an angle that if you are interested in figuring out where the human race is going, if you're interested in figuring out how far we have come, Sapiens and Homo Deus is one of the collection of books that you should definitely read. But if we talk about this particular book, I have some gripes with the book as well, because when I compare it to Sapiens, which, I mean, I have read Sapiens first, so I am more inclined to do it. If you have not, my advice would be read this one first and then enjoy the other one, because you will have a different kind of perspective for the book that way. This book also kind of brings in a bias from the author. He is very critical of the technological advancement that we are going through. He's very critical of the environmental impact that we are having. And the author kind of posts a sort of a grim picture of the future, but there are enough concepts and enough assumptions and enough predictions in the book that might make you wonder that the future is going to be really interesting. The way human race develops in the near future is going to be really interesting. Okay, I'm going to focus about the most interesting concept of the book, which I really enjoyed and which you might as well. The basic and the most interesting concept of the book is upgrading the human race into gods. I mean, this concept is something that has stuck in my mind ever since I read the book, and I read the book a long time ago. The concept that humans, if you've read this book called Origin by Dan Brown, also kind of worries about the same concept. The fact that human beings in the current stage are at the peak, or they have plateaued in their physical capabilities, in their mental capabilities, and the only way for the human race to advance is to combine the human race with cybernetics, with I don't know, machinery, I don't know, any sort of transforming devices, and the integration of the human race with technology, not just by integrating mobile phones or laptops or computers in our life, but actually altering the human DNA, actually altering the psyche of a human brain, with the help of technology is going to be the next step in our evolution, and this might allow us to, I don't know, breathe in space, travel huge distances, basically the future that Terminator showed you, or the future that a lot of science fiction movies have shown you. Yuval Noah Harari believes that that is the future that can come true, and of course there are arguments about the ethics of it, about the possibilities of it, but this is one concept from the book that I've taken away and has stayed in my mind for a long time, and I think this is one of the concepts that you can enjoy, and this is only one of the, I mean, I don't know how many concepts that are in the book that talk about the future of humanity. It is for this reason that I would recommend you guys to read this book, and if you have already, make sure you leave it down in the comments about how you liked it, what were your gripes or likings about the book. But for this particular review, Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow is a book that I would definitely recommend for you to read. Of course, you should read Sapiens as well, but this particular review was about Homo Deus. I think it's going to open your mind to a lot of different perspectives. It's going to open your mind to the fact that humanity is very interesting, our evolution is very interesting, and our future is even more interesting. And I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching it till the end. I come up with a new video on this channel at least once every Monday, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Check out the other videos. There is a lot of stuff about reading, productivity, lifestyle that you might enjoy if you're new here. If not, like the video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.